Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're acting as code breakers to master the seemingly illogical rules of English grammar so you can absolutely ace your DP E801 exam. We're going to transform this official syllabus from a really daunting list into a highly logical, easy-to-understand system. I'll be guiding you through it with clear pronunciation and some highly focused memory tricks every step of the way. Let's get started. Think about it for a second. Have you ever had to eat your words or, eat humble pie? If you actually take those phrases literally, they sound completely bizarre, don't they? I mean, who goes around eating words? Okay, let's dive into this, because understanding exactly why these expressions exist and what they actually mean is the absolute key to mastering the English language and passing your exam. All right, so here's the game plan for today. We're going to start by cracking the idiom code, move on to phrasal verbs and prepositions, unlock the power of substitution, hit those high-yield exam expressions, and then wrap it all up with a final exam review. We are going to systematically hack this syllabus together.
Okay, part 1, cracking the idiom code. So, right off the bat, we have to establish something. English doesn't always make literal sense. And honestly, that's kind of by design. Grammar expert Peter Herring puts it perfectly. He defines an idiom as an expression with a unique meaning that just cannot be inferred from its constituent parts. Basically, if you're taking your exam, you can't just look at the individual words and guess what they mean. You've got to learn the phrase as one unbreakable code.
And this perfectly shows the jump between literal absurdity and figurative reality. Look at these classic Wren and Martin examples. If you literally try to make both ends meet, you're probably picturing a guy trying to tie two ends of a really short rope together, right? But idiomatically, it just means living within your income. Or what about someone who kicked up a row? They didn't physically kick anything, they just made a massive noise or fuss. And a kid who is as good as gold? Well, they're simply being very good. Now, one of the best memory hacks out there is visualizing the context. Take the phrase, "it will go hard with him." It sounds super old-fashioned, maybe a bit dramatic, right? But for your exam, you absolutely need to know it simply means he will suffer severely. Just picture a wise elder giving a stern warning to a younger person. Connecting that vivid mental image to the words is going to help you lock in that meaning instantly.
Moving right along to section 2, phrasal verbs and prepositions.
Let's shift gears a bit and look at the actual mechanics of how words pair up to create completely new meanings. This is the next layer of the English code. A phrasal verb is basically a verb followed by either a preposition or a particle, and together they create a unique idiomatic meaning. Guys, these are an absolute staple of competitive exams. Nailing these down is literally non-negotiable.
So, the absolutely crucial point here is telling the difference between particles and prepositions. It's tricky because they look identical. But here's the secret. Particles act a lot like adverbs. They modify and expand the verb's meaning, and they absolutely cannot introduce a prepositional phrase. Prepositions, on the other hand, always will. This is a huge, high-yield grammatical distinction that trips up so many examinees.
Since you can't just guess a prepositional idiom's meaning by staring at it, you've got to memorize it. But we can be smart about it. Chunking idioms by their starting preposition, like the word for, is an incredibly powerful prep strategy. Think about it. For certain means surely, for good means permanently, and doing something for a living means it's your occupation. Grouping them like this in your mind just makes sense.
And guess what? We can use that exact same chunking trick for idioms ending with a preposition. Let's look at verbs that end with on. To catch up on means to get informed about something, right? And to count on means to rely or depend on someone. If you group these in your brain by that ending preposition, your recall on test day is going to be so much faster and way more accurate.
All right, part 3, the power of substitution.
Think of substitution as the ultimate grammatical shortcut. It's used constantly by native speakers, and it is heavily tested on your paper. The Cambridge Grammar of English defines substitution as using a proform, like the word one, to substitute a previously mentioned entity. Why do we do it? Strictly for brevity, just to avoid annoying repetition. It's pure grammatical efficiency. Instead of saying a clunky noun phrase over and over, you just swap it out and keep the sentence flowing.
Let's speedrun this highly technical concept really quickly. Substitution falls into two camps. First, there's anaphoric, which refers backward. Like if I say a modem, you'll need one. The word one points right back to the modem. Then we have cataphoric, which refers forward. For example, if you're looking for one, there's a screwdriver in that drawer.
Here, 1 points forward to the screwdriver. Honestly, cataphoric substitution is way less common, but knowing the difference gives you a massive edge.
Which brings us to Section 4, High-Yield Exam Expressions.
Okay, let's switch into rapid-fire exam prep mode. Remember that hook phrase we talked about earlier? In spite of all his brag, he had to eat humble pie. Let's close the loop on that. To eat humble pie means to apologize humbly, usually when you're forced to yield under totally humiliating circumstances. So yeah, absolutely nothing to do with actual baked goods.
Here is a rapid-fire cheat sheet of some classic Wren and Martin expressions. You really need to be able to spot these instantly on your paper. If an unexpected challenge puts you on your mettle, it means you've been roused to do your absolute best. If someone is not worth his salt, it means they're quite worthless. And if a person is hard of hearing, they are somewhat deaf. Lock these into your brain. You want that instant recognition on test day.
And finally, Section 5, your final exam review.
Okay, take a breath. Let's slow it down for just a second. I've got one final challenge to test your new decoding skills. If you get over a cold, are you literally jumping above it or successfully recovering from an illness? By now, you know exactly how these idiomatic phrasal verbs work, right? You're not doing parkour over a virus, you're recovering. You did it! The code is officially broken. You've got the tools, the structure, and the logic to absolutely crush this syllabus. So, what other hidden idioms are you going to uncover next as you dive into the rest of your prep? Keep at it, you are officially empowered and ready for your DPE 801 exam.